Hi everybody, welcome back. It's good to be with you again. I did do this video yesterday. I started to complete the whole scripture yesterday, but for some reason the headphones were playing up and just kept making noise again. But I've done some sound checks this morning and they seem fine. It's really weird. So anyway, to crack on with where we left last time, I will be starting with chapter 5. I should be able to make it to chapter 8 in this video, so yeah, here we go. Nevertheless, as come in the tokens, behold, the days shall come, that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number, the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. But iniquity shall be increased above that which thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. And the land that thou seest now not to have root shall thou see wasted suddenly. The land that thou seest now to have root thou shalt see wasted suddenly. But if the Most grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the third trumpet that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and the moon thrice in a day. And the blood shall drop out of wood, and the stone shall give his voice, and the people shall be troubled. And even he shall rule, whom they look not for that dwell upon the earth, and the fowls shall take their flight away together. And the Sodomitish sea shall cast out fish, and make a noise in the night, which many have not known, but they shall all hear the voice thereof. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft set out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. And salt waters shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself to its secret chamber. And shall be sought of many, and yet not be found, and then shall unrighteousness and inconsistency be multiplied on earth. One land shall also ask another, and say, Is righteousness that maketh a man righteous gone through thee? And it shall say, No. At the same time men shall hope, but nothing obtain. They shall labour, but their ways shall not prosper. To show thee such tokens I have leave. If thou wilt pray again, and weep as now, and fast 7 days, thou shalt hear yet greater things. Then I awaked, and an extreme fearfulness went through my whole body, and my mind was troubled, so that I fainted. So the angel was come to talk with me, held me, comforted me, and set me upon my feet. And in the second night it came to pass that Salathiel, captain of the people, came to me, saying, Where hast thou been, and why is thy countenance so heavy? Knowest not that Israel is committed unto thee in the land of their captivity? Up then, and eat bread, and forsake us not, as the shepherd that leaveth his flock in the hands of the cruel wolves. Then said I unto him, Go thy ways from me, and come not nigh me. And he heard what I said, and went from me. So I fasted 7 days, mourning and weeping, like as Uriel an angel commanded me. And after 7 days so it was, that the thoughts of my heart were very grievous unto me again. And my soul recovered the spirit of understanding, and I began to walk with the Most High again, and said, O Lord that bearest rule, of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee only one vine, and of all the lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit, and of all the flowers thereof one lily, and of all the depths of the sea thou hast filled thee one river, and of all the builded cities thou hast casted Zion unto thyself. And of all the fowls that are created, thou hast named thee one dove. And of all the cattle that are made, thou hast provided thee one sheep. And among all the multitudes of people, thou hast gotten thee one people. And unto his people, thou who lovest, thou gavest a law that is approved of all. And now, O Lord, why hast thou given this one people over unto many? And upon one root hast thou prepared others? And why hast thou scattered thy only one people among many? And they which did gainsay thy promises, and believed not thy commandments, have trodden them down. And if didst so much hate thy people, yet shouldest thou punish them with thine own hands? Now when I had spoken these words, the angel that came to me in the night afore was sent unto me, and said to me, Hear me, and I will instruct thee. Hearken to the thing that I say, and I shall tell thee more. And I said, Speak on, my lord. Then he said unto me, Thou art sore troubled in mind for Israel's sake. Lovest thou the people better than he that made them? And I said, No, Lord, but of very grief have I spoken, for my reins pain me every hour, while I labour to comprehend the way of the Most High, and to seek out part of his judgment. And he said unto me, Thou canst not. And I said, Wherefore, Lord? Why unto was I born then? Or why was not my mother's womb then my grave? That I might not have seen the travail of Jacob, and the wearisome toil of the stock of Israel. And he said to me, Number me the things that have not yet come. Gather me together the dross that are scattered abroad. Make me the flowers green again that are withered. Open me the places that are closed, and bring me forth the winds that are in them shut up. Show me the image of a voice, and then I will declare to thee the thing that thou labourest to know. And I said, O Lord, that bearest rule, who may know these things, but he who have not dwelling with men? As for me, I am unwise. How may I then speak of the things whereof thou asked me? Then he said to me, Like as thou can't do the things that I've spoken of, so can't you find out my judgment, or in the end the love that I have promised to my people. And I said, Behold, O Lord, yet art thou nigh unto them that be reserved till the end. And what shall they do that have been before me, or we that are now, or they that shall come after us? And he said to me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring. There is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first. So I answered and said, Couldst thou not make those that have been made, and be now, and that art to come, all at once, that thou mightest show thy judgment the sooner? Then answered he me, and said, The creature may not haste above the Maker, neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created therein. And I said, As thou said to thy servant, that thou, which givest life to all, hast given life at once to the creature that is created, and the creature bear it, even so might it now also bear them that be present at once. He said to me, Ask the womb of a woman, and say to her, If thou bringest forth children, why do you not do it together, but one after another? Pray her therefore to bring forth 10 children at once. And I said, She cannot, but she must do it by distance of time. Then said he unto me, Even so have I given the womb of earth to those that be sown in it in their times. For like as a young child may not bring forth the things that belong to the aged, even so have I disposed the world which I created. And I asked and said, Seeing thou hast now given me the way, I will proceed to speak before thee. For our mother, of whom thou hast told me, she is young, draweth now nigh unto age. She was young, and now she draws old. He answered me and said, Ask a woman that beareth children, and she shall tell thee. Say unto her, Wherefore are they whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before, but less of stature? And she will answer you and say, They that were born in the strength of youth are of one fashion, and they that are born in the time of age, when the womb faileth, are otherwise. Consider thou therefore also, how that ye are less of stature than those who were before you. And so they that are come after you are less than ye, and the creatures now which begin to be old, and have passed over the strength of youth. Then said I, Lord, I beseech thee, if I have found favour in your sight, show thy servant by whom thou visitest thy creature. And he said to me, In the beginning, when the earth was made, before the borders of the world were stood, wherever the winds blew, before it thundered and lightened, wherever the foundations of paradise were laid, before the fair flowers were seen, wherever the movable powers were established, before the innumerable multitude of angels were gathered together, wherever the heights of the air were lifted up, before the measures of the firmament were named, wherever the chimneys in Zion were hot, and ere the present years were sought out, and wherever the inventions of them that now sin were turned, but before they sealed that have gathered faith, before they were sealed that have gathered faith for the treasure. Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other, but by me also shall they be ended, and by none other. Then also, and I said, what shall the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said to me, from Abraham to Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were first born of him, Jacob's hand held the first heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that followeth. The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other question, Esdras, asked thou not. I answered then and said, O Lord that bearest rule, if I have found favour in your sight, I beseech thee, show thy servant the end of thy tokens, whereof thou showest me in part last night. So he answered and said to me, stand upon thy feet, and hear a mighty sounding voice. And it shall be as it were a great motion, but the place where thou standest shall not be moved. And therefore, when it speaketh, be not afraid, for the word is of the end, and the foundation of the earth is understood. And why? Because the sorry. And why? Because the speech of these things trembleth, and it is moved, for it knoweth that the end of these things must be changed. And it happened, that when I had heard and stood up on my feet, and hearkened, and behold, there was a voice that spake, and it sounded like the sound of many waters. And it said, behold, the days come that I will draw nigh, and to visit them that dwell upon the earth. And it will begin to make an inquisition of them, and they that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, when the infliction of Zion shall be fulfilled. When the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show these tokens, the books that are be opened before the firmament, and they shall all see together. The children of a year old shall speak with their voices. The women with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live, and be raised up. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. Full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. The trumpets shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape, and see my salvation, and the end of your world. And the men that are received shall see it, who have not tasted death from their birth, and the heart of the inhabitants shall be changed, and turned into another meaning. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which has been so long without fruit shall be declared. And when he talked with me, behold, I looked but a little and little upon him before whom I stood. These words he said unto me, I am come to show thee the time of the night to come. If thou wilt pray yet more, and fast 7 days again, I shall tell thee greater things by day than I have heard. For thy voice is heard before the Most High. For the mighty have seen the righteous dealing, ye have seen also thy chastity, which thou hast had ever since thy youth. And therefore hath he sent me to show thee all these things, and to say unto thee, be of good comfort, and fear not, and hasten not to the times which are past, to think vain things, that thou mayest not far hasten from the latter times. And it came to pass after this, that I wept again, and fasted 7 days in like manner, that I might fulfil the 3 weeks which he told me. And in the 8th night my heart was vexed within me again, and I began to speak before the Most High. For my spirit was greatly set on fire, and my soul was in distress. And I said, O Lord, thou speakest from the beginning of the creation, even the first day, and said thus, Let heaven and earth be made, and thy word was a perfect work. And then was the spirit, and darkness, and silence were on every side. The sound of man's voice was not yet formed. Then commandest thou a fair light to come forth of thy treasures, that thy work might appear. Upon the 2nd day thou madest the spirit of the firmament, and commandest it to part asunder, and to make a division betwixt the waters, that one part might go up, and the other remain beneath. Upon the 3rd day thou didst command the waters should be gathered in the 7th part of the earth. 6 parts have thou dried up, and kept them, to the intent that of these that some being planted of God and tilled might serve thee. For as soon as thy word went forth, the work was made. For immediately there was a great and innumerable fruit, and many and diverse pleasures for the taste, and flowers of unchangeable colour, and odours of wonderful smell. This was done on the 3rd day. Upon the 4th day thou camest that the sun should shine. Thou commandest that the sun should shine, and the moon give her light, and the stars should be in order. Gavest them the charge to do service to man, and that was to be made. Upon the 5th day thou saidst to the 7th part, where the waters were gathered, that it should bring forth living creatures, fowls and fishes, and so it came to pass. For the dumb water and without life brought forth living things, at the commandment of God, that all people might praise thy wondrous works. Then did thou order 2 living creatures, one called Enoch, and the other Leviathan, and did separate the one from the other, for the 7th part, namely, where the water was gathered together, might not hold them both. Unto Enoch thou gavest 1 part, which was dried up the 3rd day, that he should dwell in the same part, therein in 1,000 hills, wherein there are 1,000 hills. But unto Leviathan thou gavest the 7th part, namely the moist, and hast kept him to be devoured of, but whom thou wilt, and when. Upon the 6th day thou gavest command unto the earth, that before thee it should bring forth beasts, cattle, and creeping things. And after these Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, be like unto a spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them to a drop that falleth from a vessel. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be the lords over us, and to devour us. But we thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy servant lover, are given to their hands. If the world now be made for us, for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? When I made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me an angel which had been sent in the first nights afore. And he said to me, Up, Esdras, and hear the words that I am come to tell thee. And I said, Speak on, my God. Then he said to me, The sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case the entrance where narrow, and like a river. Who then could go to the sea to look upon it, and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come to the broad? There is also another thing. The city is builded and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if it is fire in the right hand and left a deep water. Pardon me. The only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could be but one man go there at once. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he shall never pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive his inheritance? And I said, It is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, Even so also is Israel's portion, because for their sakes I made the world. And when Adam transgressed my statutes, that was decreed that now is done. Then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. For the entrances of the elder world were wide and sure, and brought immortal fruit. But if then they that live labour not to enter these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that they laid up for them. Those things that are laid up for them. Now therefore, why quietest thou thyself, seeing thou art but a corruptible man? And why art thou moved, whereas thou art but mortal? Why hast thou not considered in thy mind a thing that is to come, rather than that which is present? Then answered I and said, O Lord that bearest rule, thou hast ordained in thy law that the righteous should inherit these things, but that the ungodly should perish. Nevertheless the righteous shall suffer straight things, and hope for wide, for they have done wickedly and suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide. He said to me, There is no judge above God, and none of understanding above his highest. For there be many that perish in this life, because they despise the law of God that is set before them. For God hath given straight commandment to such as come, and that they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient to him, but spake against him, and imagined vain things, and deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of the Most High, that he is not, and knew not his ways. But his law they have despised, and denied his covenants, and in his statutes they have not been faithful, and have not performed his works. And therefore, Esdras, for the empty are the empty things, and for the full are the full things. Behold, the time shall come, that these tokens which I have told thee shall come to pass, and the bride shall appear, and she is coming forth shall be seen, that now is withdrawn from the earth. And whosoever is delivered from the foresaid evils shall see my wonders. For my son Jesus shall be revealed with those that be with him, that they shall rejoice within 400 years. And after these years shall my son Christ die, and all men that have lived have life. And the world shall be turned into the old silence 7 days, like as in the former judgments, so that no man shall remain. And after 7 days the world, that yet awaketh not, shall be raised up, and shall die that is corrupt. And the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her, and so shall the dust of those that dwell in silence, and the secret places shall deliver those souls that were committed to them. And the Most High shall appear upon the seat of judgment, and misery shall pass away, and long suffering shall have an end. But judgment only shall remain, and truth shall stand, and faith shall wax strong. And the work shall follow, and the reward shall be shown, and the good deeds shall be of force, and the wicked deeds shall bear no rule. Excuse me. Then said I, Abram prayed first for the Sodomites, and Moses for the fathers that sinned in the wilderness, Jesus after him for Israel in the time of Achan, Samuel and David for the destruction, Solomon for them that should come into the sanctuary, and Elias for those that received rain, and for the dead that he might live, and Ezekiel for the people at the time of Sennacherib, and for many, Even so now, seeing corruption is grown up and wickedness increased, and the righteous have prayed for the ungodly, wherefore shall it not be now also? He answered me and said, This present life is not the end, where much glory doth abide. Therefore have they prayed for the weak. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. Intemperance is at an end, infidelity is cut off, righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up. Where'd it go? Oh, I've lost my spot, sorry. There it is. Then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed, nor to oppress him that have gotten the victory. I answered then and said, This is my first and last saying, that it had been better not to have given the earth unto Adam, or else when it was given to him, to have restrained him from sinning. For what profit is it now for men now, in this present time, to live in heaviness, and after death to look for punishment? O thou Adam, what hast thou done? For it was thou that sinned, thou art not fallen alone, but we are all that have come of thee. For what profit is it unto us, if there be promised us an immortal time, whereas we have done the works that bringeth death? And that there is promised in us an everlasting hope, whereas ourselves being most wicked are made vain, and that there are laid up for us dwellings of health and safety, whereas we have lived wickedly. There's promises where have been dwellings of health and safety, but we've lived wickedly. And that the glory of the Most High is kept to defend them which have led a weary life, whereas we have walked under the most wicked ways of all. And that there should be showed a paradise whose fruit endureth forever, wherein insecurity and medicine, since we shall not enter into it. For we have walked in unpleasant places, and that the faces of them which have used abstinence shall shine above the stars, whereas our faces shall be blacker than darkness. For while we lived in committed iniquity, we considered not that we should begin to suffer for it after death. Then answered he me, and said, This is the condition of the battle, which man that is born upon the earth shall fight, that, if he be overcome, he shall suffer as thou hast said, but if he get the victory, he shall receive the thing that I say. For this is the life whereof Moses spake unto the people while he lived, saying, Choose thee life, that thou mayest live. Nevertheless they believed him not, nor yet the prophets after him, nor me which I have spoken unto them, that there should not be such a heaviness in their destruction, as shall be joy over them that persuaded to salvation. I answered then and said, I know, Lord, that the Most High is called merciful, in that he hath mercy upon them which are not yet came into the world, and upon those also that turn to his law, and that he is patient and long-suffering with those that have sinned as his creatures, and that he is bountiful, for he is ready to give where it needeth, and that he is of great mercy, for he multiplieth more and more mercies to them that are present, and that are past, and also to them which are to come. For if he shall not multiply his mercies, the world would not continue with them that inherit it therein. And he pardoneth, for if he did not do so of his goodness, that they which have committed iniquities might be erased of them, the 10,000th part of men should not remain living. And being judge, if he should not forgive them that are cured with his word, and put to the multitude of contentions, there should be very few left, peradventure this innumerable multitude. So that's about as far as I can get on there today. I'm hoping the sound is better than the videos I did yesterday, so I can upload this soon. But I hope you enjoyed, and I'll speak to you soon. God bless.